Hey, everybody, welcome to this Board Game Life episode number 40, titled Missing. This is a show about board gaming, tabletop gaming, which I guess is kind of the same thing. Anything else we want to talk about? Card games, miniatures games, all that good stuff. I am one of your fine hosts for tonight. My name is Rob, and with me, as always, I got my good buddy Mark.
Hey, Rob, how you doing? Hey, everybody out there. This is Mark coming at you live, and yeah, I don't have an intro yet. I'm so used to the old intro. I'm like, wait, everything's wrong. So, how
Yeah,
you doing, Rob?
I'm doing good, and we don't need to talk about
Anything other than board
any
games?
avatars, any gamer scores, any
Nope.
service names, or anything like that. We're just Mark and Rob,
Mark and Rob, that's it.
and all our Mark and Rob goodness. But yeah, I don't think we actually have any like crazy stuff to talk about before we get into the show. I think we could just start talking, right?
I think we already have.
Yeah. How about that? Yeah.
But
So
I
the
am
title.
curious.
Yeah.
I'm curious
About
what the
what?
title's for.
Okay. No worries. No worries.
Am
So
I
yeah,
going to
the
learn
title is
later?
Missing. Yeah, you'll know in a little bit.
Okay.
This is just something that happened today that kind of got me wondering, and just kind of want to see what your thoughts are and maybe what some of the listeners' thoughts are and stuff like that. But yeah, let's get talking about some of the stuff that we've been playing lately. I know your list is a little bit longer than mine because you are lucky to have some willing players in your household. Or maybe not always willing.
Forced gamers.
That's good enough. That's good enough if the end result is always the same. But yeah, for me, I don't think I played anything like super new or anything like that. But I did a couple of games of Azul, and then Mark, actually, you and I played Azul online, and then we also played Dragonheart, which is an oldie but a goodie, nice little card game. Um, I know that one's on your list, so we'll talk about it a little bit more when we get to your list over there. And I think that's about it for me. I'm looking at the pile of games on the floor over here because there is no shelf space in the house left for them, and that's usually where the recent games go to. The recently played games are either on the floor in front of the shelf, or they're in a bag. I use one of those. I don't know what you would call them. They're like those. They're not really cloth, but they're not like plastic. It's those like shopping bags that they sell, those like reusable
Oh, yeah.
bags. But I got them at the Chicago Auto Show a while back, and they say like Ford on them. But they're perfect for games. You just put a couple of games in a small bag, maybe like a foot and a half by a foot and a half tall, maybe like a foot wide when it's opened up. But
Yeah.
it fits just a couple of games, and I usually throw stuff in there and take them over to people's houses. So yeah, my games are usually in that because when I bring it home, I just put it down, or they're on the floor, which I don't like having them on the floor, but that's what happens. Otherwise, you have a house full of shelves, which maybe some people do. But how about you? What have you been getting to the table lately?
So this past 2 weeks, I did get to play some more Sushi Go,
Mhm.
um, and so I've got a elderly mom that I guess she'll probably be upset if she hears me say that she's elderly. She's not like feeble or anything, but she's
Yeah.
in her 70s, and so I've been working. I kind of been getting her into gaming because. In fact, I even read an article to her tonight. I went over there. We always go over there on Monday nights to have dinner with her, and then my kids usually will take her trash out because that's her trash night. So they'll haul their trash and recycle down to her curb and stuff for her. So, but I was reading an article tonight to her about it, and it was interesting. About, of course, here I go getting off topic, but I'll get right back to what I played. But they were talking about how this was like the top 5 games by like the gaming experts from kind of all over. It was like, all these experts in the field, and they took all these different sources and like, here's like kind of generated the best 5 games kind of as a whole. And the article was talking about how board gaming is gone beyond like Sorry and the early games that we used to play, Candyland, stuff like that, and how it's not just for kids anymore, and there's a lot of games for adults. And then how like there's been studies for people that like in their 70s they're getting benefits from playing board games because it helps with the mind. And they're seeing like people that are in their 70s, even if they start playing in their 70s, they're benefiting from time away from screens, and their minds are like getting better, like they're getting a little bit sharper. They're able to, because they're actually using brain power. You're actually having to think and do things where, obviously I mean, I play a lot of video games. I'm on my iPad every single night, probably for way too long. I should get more sleep, but it really is mindless. I play this one game that I'm really like, all I'm doing is pushing a button. I don't really play the game. It actually plays itself. And I'm like, what's the point? Where that's what I've really enjoyed about board gaming is, you know, I'm having, not only am I playing a game, and I'm having to really seriously think about what my actions are going to do instead of just like shooting a gun somewhere on a video game or something. It really does make you think. And so I've been taking games over, getting her some smaller things. And so Sushi Go is one we actually tried to teach her. It's not hard, but again, someone in their 70s, it can be hard to follow. But she actually kind of enjoyed it. Wasn't her favorite of the night, but she did play, and that's the thing. She is doing it. She is learning something. So we had good with that. I took another game that she really does like. It's another card game called Play 9. Very simple game. She really enjoys that one. So we play that. So we got to play several rounds of that. And then I also picked up um, uh, an old game called Racco. It's
Yeah.
another card game, and it's a lot of fun. And she really enjoyed that too.
Oh wow.
So yeah, she really likes that.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
Racco
because
kind
Play
of,
9 and Racco, those are like ancient games.
yeah, but they're so good. They still are very simple, easy to,
Hmm.
especially when you have like a parent, like a senior parent or something that you want to maybe, it's got to be something that they can easily pick up,
Yeah.
and these are games that she really does enjoy. So, I've done that with her. Um, Also I've
So
played
basically what you're saying is you target the games for 12 o'clock flashers.
12 o'clock flashers.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
those are the
that one.
people that have all of their VCR
Oh,
displays flashing 12,
yes.
right? Okay.
There you go. Exactly. Yep. So those are good little fun games.
Sure.
And again, this podcast, you're going to get some of this because I'm going to play them. I like some of these games. I really enjoy them too. So you're going to get the heavy stuff from Rob. You're going to get the lighter stuff from me, but I'm starting to put some heavier stuff in here. I'm working my way up. So
Working your way up. Yep.
um, now our last podcast, I think you had mentioned Azul, and I had made
Yes.
a comment about, I've looked at the box like, and I'm like, ugh, like the box itself turns me off.
Don't
And I
be
was like,
judgy. Yeah. I know
well,
what you mean though. Yeah.
so that was 2 weeks ago. I now have two Azul core boxes and two Azul expansions on my
How do you have
shelf
how do you have two of them? For
because
what?
I got the main game, and then there's one called,
Oh, okay.
I think it's Summer Pavilion,
Yeah.
that I picked up. So it's not the tiles. It's still like the same thing, but
It's like an
they're like
expansion
diamond
kind
shape.
of.
They're
Yeah.
like diamond shaped. Um, and then there's some kind of like clock tower, and instead of laying tiles on a floor, you're building. I think this one is designing stained glass
Oh,
windows or something like that. But and it plays a little different, but it's like, there looks like there's still a lot of the same type of concepts. So I haven't played that one yet, but I have played a lot of Azul, both
mhm.
online with you and on the table. And then there's like an
It's
expansion
so
pack.
easy. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's an expansion, and I bought the expansion because it comes with these plastic trays that sit over your
Oh,
thing to
yeah,
keep
crystal
your
mosaic, right?
tiles in it. Yes,
Okay, so
crystal mosaic. Yes.
let me let me get your thoughts on that overlay because I have some definite opinions on it. What you thinking?
What do you want me? So you want my
Yeah,
thoughts first?
yeah.
Um. Okay, so just from that alone, I like it because it keeps everything in line.
Does it
Um.
really?
I mean, so the tiles I think keeps it in line really well, and I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
The score tracker, I thought it was going to be an individual hole for every point, but it's like every 2 points. So it can still slide between like 1 and 2 or 3 and 4. So it can still slide. But so far, it has helped, especially with like my kids, because they'll move and it's like, boom, there went the whole board.
Oh, yeah, the whole table shifts.
Yeah. So it has done, it's been a lot better with those in place. And my daughter really likes them compared to not having it because she's she'll look at the table and stuff goes flying. Okay. She's one of these
Yeah,
that spills her drink every day. And mind you, she's almost 18. She'll be 18 this year. Okay. She'll just spill everything. She's always got to wear like a hoodie because she's always cold. So the sleeves are dragging and knocking stuff over, or she's wrapped in a blanket. And so this helped a lot. Now, with that said, so I don't have a negative, and I will probably always use them. The negative I would say would be that you have to, when you store it, I don't I don't think you can store them in the original box with the boards. And even in the expansion box, you have to put, because the expansion comes with 4 new boards. So
yeah,
it's like one board, two-sided, but you get 4 of them so that it gives you different varieties of way to play. Um, but you have to put the plastic cover in a board. Like you can't just grab the 4 boards, put them in, grab the 4 covers, and put them on top and close the lid. The lid won't close. You get box lift that way. So so for someone who doesn't like box lift, which I have one that is right out of took out the plastic wrap and it already went whoop, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Um, yeah, you have to pack them that way, which some people might not like. And it would be nice to be able to put the covers in the original box because I probably won't pull out the expansion boards, not for quite a while, because
right.
we're all just getting used to it. So I like just having it out and knowing where I need to put stuff. And because right now it's been real fun and how quick it is to like, I learned very quickly that, okay, I get the idea, know how to play. And then it's like I start watching, like I was looking at my daughter's board the other day. When you're getting down to the last few tiles, you start looking at what everyone else needs. And it's like, okay, what am I going to stick them with? And I'm like,
Yeah,
it's so fun. And she started to cover her board. She saw me looking and she's like, stop. And I'm just like, what? But it's
that
it's an
that is funny though.
it's an
Yeah,
incredible game. I love it.
yeah.
And I'm so grateful you mentioned it. And this has taught
You
me a
get.
lesson. Don't judge a board game by the box art
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because
or the story.
so in terms of games, Azul is very abstract. Um, meaning whatever theme it has is kind of. I mean, it could be anything, right?
Right.
It's just a game that you're doing like pattern matching, and you're going through a certain selection process, right? So
Yeah.
they chose like the Moors and the tiles, palace, all that stuff like that, and it's really interesting how as games get reprinted, let's say 10 years from now, I don't think this will happen with Azul, but let's say 10 years from now there's a reprint of Azul because it was out of print for a while. They might totally change it to something else, and you know one thing might look really lame, the other thing, right, the new reprint might have something like really more interesting. Let's say like a space theme, and you look
Yeah.
at the box and you're like, oh, that's cool, but functionally it's the same game, and it really doesn't matter
Yeah.
either way, right? Because I mean, personally, I like when I play Azul, I don't get any perception of like, oh, these are tiles. I'm like, no, this one's blue, this one's
Yeah,
red,
exactly.
this one's black.
Yeah. And
It's
it's interesting
yeah,
for like someone like myself. The box art turned me off, and then I remember, but I keep hearing about this game, so I remember looking. Okay, well,
mhm,
what is this? Oh, 16th century Spaniard, whatever craftsman. I'm like, "Wow, bleh." I'm like, you lost me at like, right off the bat, like with your medieval times type description, and it's like when you play the game, none of that's there. It's like, so
right.
I almost feel like like you said, the theme for me hurt it because I would have never played this.
Your
But
perception,
then
yeah.
it was your discussion about it. And I trust, I don't know why I trust you. You've steered me wrong in a couple of ways in the
No,
past.
whatever, whatever.
Forbidden Island, Colorado, which I will say I need to go back and play both of those games
Yeah,
because I'm in a different place now. But
yeah, yeah. You are.
um, yeah, Azul's awesome. Like I
Yeah, it
just,
is.
yeah. So now when I go look at a
It's
game, it'll be
and
like,
it's and I was going to say one thing too about it is that it's very simple technically, right?
yes,
Once you play it once and you get over like, well, especially if you're a first time player, once you get over like the initial rules and you play it once, you're like, I only do like two things. It's
yeah,
like two things. You make a choice and you place it somewhere. That's it, and your turn's over. So it's like extremely simple. It's a great game to give to new players because it
yeah.
really like piques their interest and you're like, oh wow, this is good. Oh, and what I was going to say is too is that Azul is very, very, I don't say tense, but as you're scoring points, the scores are usually so close.
Yep.
Like with lots of times a game will finish like 1 point
I beat my
apart.
daughter by 1 point the other day. She was
Oh,
not happy.
hmm,
And then last night, yesterday, no, yeah, yesterday, we had like a big game day yesterday.
nice.
And on one of them, the only reason I beat her was I got the 10-point bonus for having 5 of the same tile out. And she was trying to get that and she just missed it because I
Oh
went
wow.
out. Like, and
Oh, you triggered
so
that.
I beat her by like 9 points where she would have
Okay.
had me by 1.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, what is your thought then on the covers
Oh, the
for the Azul
Oblaze.
board?
So I had the expansion in arm's reach, so I actually was flipping through it and looking at it, and I didn't remember from previous that you said that like the scoring was like two spaces, but I totally see it now.
Yeah,
And I agree the tiles area is pretty good. I was really looking forward to the score area holding that little
cube.
cube perfectly in place. And it just
Yeah,
doesn't. And I mean, I see what they did, and I guess the one time that I played with them before I said these things are garbage, why did I buy this stupid thing? Um, when I played it then, it really didn't hold them in place, and it felt like my cubes were even like too big to fit in there, and they kind of just like moved around. But I could see now in each two spot space on the scoreboard, it's actually not even recessed. I mean, well, it's recessed on its own, but then where the cubes stay is like up higher. I don't know why they did that. It's almost like
well,
backwards, like upside down. But still, I mean,
yeah, I, I suppose you got to still keep it low profile,
yeah,
and it's still it does improve it. It keep at least if it's going to move, it's going to move one space, and that's it.
yeah. No,
Unless someone's
right.
beating on the table, then you're no matter what, you're
They got,
those
yeah, you
little
got other
cubes going to go
problems.
flying.
Yeah,
You
somebody
need to
needs a
find new people
timeout.
to play with.
Yeah, you put them in a timeout. But
Exactly. So
the one thing that I'm gonna say is you probably could put this in the main box, but you would pretty much have to ditch the insert that the box comes with. So this is one thing. Azul has a pretty nice insert in there that holds the pieces. Um, like the factory tiles go in these like little circle areas. There's a spot for the first player token and so forth. And a lot of games will have even cheap inserts that are just cardboard. They're really there just for shipping, just so like the boards don't warp and things are held in place. You don't need those. And this is something that is kind of hard for a lot of people to do. You can just take those and throw them out. I know it sounds like sacrilege probably, but you know, you can always just put the tiles in like a plastic baggie and then fit everything in there, because the crystal mosaic expansion is maybe an inch tall, if that. So you just need an inch space. And I
Right.
know the tile bag is huge, so that
Yeah.
needs a bunch of space. So you can just ditch that insert and then probably fit this in just fine. And and then the other hard thing is throw out the crystal mosaic box
Isn't
altogether.
it? Isn't that like a no-no? Throwing out your
For some people
boxes?
it is. For some people. But dude, you got to consolidate space to put more games on your shelf. As you get expansions, throw everything in the main box if you can. Just got to keep it separate somehow. I mean, I think you already got into I'm not sleeving,
Oh,
right? I think
we
I
can
think
talk about that today if you'd like.
yeah, or maybe we'll talk about sleeves on another show. Maybe we'll make
Okay.
it like a good topic, because otherwise we'll be this will be like a 18-hour show. I can't handle that tonight.
Okay.
But yeah, ditching inserts is like the first step. Ditching a box is a second step. Combining things, it's part of the evolution. Sometimes it's a necessity based on space. But anyway, yeah, I was just looking at the insert. I do like the idea of it. The one time that I used it, it was kind of disappointing. But next time I play, I'll bring him out again, and we'll try it. And maybe I'll have a renewed impression of them, and I'll report back.
Okay.
So what else? Okay, so you did Sushi Go, Play 9 Racco, Azul.
Also did go to my X-Wing, Star Wars X-Wing night, so I did
Oh,
play
nice.
some of that.
'Cause didn't you get that
Basically,
one when you were back in Arizona?
oh yeah, and I
Yeah, yeah,
couldn't figure out the game. My oldest
yeah,
son Colin and I were trying to play it, and we're just like, forget this. And it
yeah.
sat on the shelf, and then I was like, you know what? When I started this whole gaming journey late last year, I was like, I got this game. Let me go in this game store, not the one you went to, but on south of me, in the
Mhm.
town just south of me, they host Next Wing every Thursday night, and so they're like, anyone can come and play. I was like, well, I'll go and check it out. So I go over there. I try to go over there at least once a month, because like was it the third or fourth Thursday they do a like a cooperative campaign thing that's really cool and a lot of fun to play. So you're basically playing against. There's one person. I guess you could call him like a DM or a game master who's running like the enemy ships and controlling all that. And they've got this story, and he's got all these like cards. I forgot what there's a mod or something that for this that they run, and then the rest of us are all working together to, you know, do this mission, and it's a lot of fun. But when I went last week, I just played against one other person. We each had, I think, three ships, um, and equipped them, and we just basically fought each other. So it was fun. There's a lot to learn. I'm still trying to figure that game out, but I'm having fun with it. Also on my Wednesday night game, that's at the store that I took you to,
Sure.
met with my group, and we played Marvel Villainous and Marvel Dice Throne.
Oh
It
wow.
was my first time playing Marvel Dice Throne. I actually think I like it better than the original game.
Oh
And I'm not,
wow.
and it's not because of Marvel, um, which is going to be weird when you hear my full list here today. I'm not this huge Marvel guy, but
Or
Marvel
are
Dice
you?
Throne, I feel like the characters and your powers are so much better. Like I feel like when you're playing, you're doing a lot more damage. In the original Dice Throne, I feel like, oh, you're rolling this, you get your dice, and you're like, oh, I did 3 damage, like whoop de doo, like I did an attack the other day and I was like 15 damage, eat it. And it took someone like half their health out, and we just had a great time. It was like, there was this back and forth, and it was just like I was probably the best Dice Throne experience I've had. Was with the Marvel version, but I not to talk bad. I'm all in. I have everything Dice Throne. I own everything.
Nice, nice.
I love that game, but really liked the Marvel one. Um, I played Pandemic. So the night we recorded this, the last time we recorded our show, that night I had to basically, it was like staying up. I was going to basically stay up all night because I had to take my oldest son to the airport at 3 o'clock in the morning so he could fly back
Oh
to
yeah,
college.
that's right.
So I was like, I was getting tired. I was like, I'm going to bed. I'll just deal with getting up. Well, it was like 1 a.m. and I'm still laying in bed wide awake. And I was like, okay, I got to get up in 2 hours, less than 2 hours. I might as well just get up. So my daughter wanted to ride with. So I come downstairs and look at her room. I was like, oh, and she's still awake. And I said, should we play, let's do something. But I said, I can't watch TV. I can't play a video game. I will fall asleep. She's like, let's play a board game. And I said, 1 o'clock in the morning, you
Music to
know?
my ears. Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm like, I don't know. And it's like, okay, well, and then on top of it, we picked a game none of us had played. But
Okay.
Pandemic came to the table at 1 a.m.
Wow.
And then I went upstairs and I think I texted my oldest son. I said, are you awake? I said,
Nice.
Haley and I are going to play a board game. And next thing I know, I hear his door open. And he's like, I went to bed for a little bit. And then I woke up at like 11. I've been awake since. And so we all sat down and learned how to play Pandemic. And it took,
Nice.
we finished, we lost
Yeah.
barely. Oh, we lost by one turn. If we
Oh
had, if
geez.
we
Yeah.
had two more moves, like I think it was like the cards ran out. I'm trying to remember. There's no cards for what, like the pandemic. I'm trying to remember. I hope I'm not missing my game, but I remember we basically ran out of turns, and if we had two more turns, like if my daughter, I think it ended on me. If my daughter and my son could have gone one more time, we would have
Right.
won with his last, because we had everything
Action.
we
Yeah.
needed. And we had like 3 of the 4 viruses cured. We had the fourth one. We just had to get to Atlanta. Um, and then we had to swap some cards, and we could have done it in 2 turns, and we didn't make it. So, but it was fun. But oh my gosh, to me that game like goes into that forbidden island reign of like, man, this game
Mhm.
really doesn't want you to win.
Nope. Nope.
So,
Because
um,
if it was so easy you won it every time, then
you wouldn't play it.
yeah, it's not as exciting.
I do want to play it again because I was like, we were so close.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
Also, Dragonheart, like you mentioned, we played that on BGA. So I got to ask you a question. Now, I log my gameplay in what is it, BG Stats.
Sure.
Um, Now, so I've been logging all my board game play. Then it comes up. The question is, can you log? Does playing Azul and Dragonheart on BGA count?
I would
Are
say
you
it
really
does.
playing a board game?
I would say it does
You're
for most purposes.
Yeah, I guess you're still playing. But was Dragonheart is that like a real card game, or is that just a digital
Yeah.
only?
Yeah. No, it's a real card game.
Oh, okay.
I've I don't think there's been a print of it forever. See, I mean that's the thing. Some games are out of print, and you just don't see them forever. So for new players, like right now, I think No, I thought there was going to be a reprint of Dragonheart, but there's some games the only way to play them is actually an online adaptation, just because you can't easily get the game. You know,
Yeah.
you might be able to get on eBay or let's say on the BGG marketplace or something like that. But especially some of these games where they came out 10 years ago and it was a print run of 1,000.
Yeah.
It's like good luck finding one, and if it's online, it's like $250, especially if it's something that people like really, really wanted
Like
at the time.
Flamecraft for $300.
Yeah,
No, thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. But yeah, Dragonheart's an older game, and it's a really good one. It's light and it's fun. My wife and I used to play it quite a bit. Just get through like 2, 3 games in a row with the real card game before BGA had it. But it's a good one.
Okay. Then I also played, like I said, it's gonna be the
Yeah.
funny thing, Marvel United. I'm
Yep.
I'm not a Marvel guy, but I had a
So
lot of
you say.
Marvel this last 2 weeks. But
Yeah.
I don't even and I found Marvel United because something came up on I think I got an email from Kickstarter or something, and it was here's one we're looking forward to, and it's called Marvel United Multiverse. And I was looking at it and I'm like, oh, this looks kind of interesting. So I started watching some videos like how to play, and I'm like, wow, that's an interesting play mechanic. I've never seen anything like that. And then I realized that I found out that there's a whole bunch of these games out. So I looked around. I ended up picking up a copy of Marvel United. I got this pack from Amazon actually that came with Marvel United Enter the Spider Verse, and the Doctor Strange character as well. So it was like these three pack thing for a really good price. Um, so I got all that in, and my kids and I have played quite a bit now of the United Marvel. I freaking love it. I absolutely love it. This game is so cool. I just really enjoy the way it works. My kids enjoy it. I could say at least my daughter does. My youngest son, I don't know, I think didn't really want to play anything the other day. He just wanted to go watch TV. So he wasn't as into it, I
Yeah.
think, as the rest of us. But we had a really good time with it. And I got more on the way. But really enjoy it. And then the last game that I played this week, um, I did pick up. I know. I think Forbidden Island was something you recommended to me a long time ago.
Yeah,
I
that's a good intro game. Yeah.
wasn't for me,
Yeah.
but I have
Well,
never
apparently all of
played.
them weren't.
Well, so
You
Forbidden
didn't like
Island.
X-Wing, you didn't like Colorado, you didn't like
Well, you got to remember back then.
I know. I
I
know.
was a big video game guy. That was it. And you've always been this board game trying to
It's
push your thing onto me.
trying to
And
foist it on. Wait,
you
I think we played right before I left for the airport that one year. I think we played oh man, that space game, the card game. I think we weren't able to finish it.
Star
What the
Realms.
heck? Star Realms, yes. Thank you.
Yeah, I do like that, and we do have
Yeah, that's
that.
a good one. Yeah.
But Forbidden Island was kind of my first. So you recommended this, I got it. I didn't know it was a cooperative game. And so reading it, I guess I'm dumb. I didn't pick up on that fact that it was a cooperative game somehow. So when I went into it, I thought we were, you know, I've never played a cooperative board game. I didn't even know they existed. And, because I'm used to like sorry and those types of things. Like, but it's just, this was completely different and foreign type of game for me. So it took us a while before we realized that we were supposed to be working together. So it really screwed everything up. And so I just got like frustrated. And now my wife and kids continued to play it and they really liked it. But I was like, forget that. I was like, dumb game. It's, I took that attitude towards it and I've never played it since. But my daughter keeps saying, well, I want to play Forbidden Island. And I bought Forbidden Desert for them.
Sure.
Like, I'm
Hmm.
not playing this garbage. It's on my shelf, but I'm not playing it. But I did get Forbidden Sky because I was like, it's one of those, I gotta have the third one, right? I didn't know there was 3 in the series. So I had to get it just because it's like I felt odd. It didn't feel right. But then what the idiots did is this is almost even worse. I now have the trio, but the last one's in a wooden box, in a cardboard box. The first
Hmm.
2 came in tin can
Yep.
metal
Yep.
tins, and I'm like,
Oh,
why would you put the third one in a cardboard box?
yeah.
Why does it not match? Why can't I put it next to the other 2? Nope, I can't because it's also too tall and it doesn't. Oh, calm down,
Yeah.
Mark. Calm down. It's going to be okay. Go to your happy place.
The struggle is
Um,
real. I
but
know.
so I was watching Forbidden Sky, how to play that on BGG. And so we pulled this out the other day. Holy buckets, this game is hard.
Yep.
Now, I went into it knowing we got to work as a team. We have to work together. Man, that game
Easier
does
said than
not
done.
want you to win. It is tough, but but I had some saving grace, and I was telling my youngest son about it today. So I was watching this group play on BGG. I didn't get to finish the video; it was like 2 hours long of them going through and one guy explaining it to the other 3. Um, well, I got to the part where they were playing the game, and so we went and we were looking through the rules, and I that helps me to learn a game. I like to watch an explanation on a YouTube,
Sure.
watch
Yeah.
someone walk through it and explain how to play, and then I can go and then I read the rules. And for me, it's a lot easier because when
Yep.
I'm reading something that normally wouldn't make sense the first time, when I'm reading it the first time, it's like I've already seen it and already kind of had it explained. So
Exactly.
it's just like, okay, now I get this. This makes sense. So I kind of had, so we knew what we were doing, and we played it once and died really quick from the freaking wind. Kept blowing us off the platforms. And we didn't have a medic because we were doing the random cards. Like it
Okay.
says, you randomly put someone out. So my daughter was the knot master, so she could repair ropes. But again, if we're splitting off to go do things, then you get blown off a couple times and your rope's not fixed and she's not there to help. Then it's just like, the lightning zapping us. And so we died fairly quickly. But I was like, oh, we're doing this again. So we immediately reset, and it was like, I want to play again.
Sure.
We did better the second time, but we still got destroyed. But the second time, we picked our characters. So I'm like, I'm the medic. My daughter stayed as the knot master. My son took the climber, which really we didn't take it. It didn't really help us in this particular instance. But we did better. But we still lost. And I'm like, man, this game is hard. But we significantly progressed better from the first game to the second one. So it was like, wow, we did make substantial progress, which
Good.
felt
Good.
good. So then today I was watching the rest of that BGG, and they got through, they won the game, and then they were discussing it. And then one of the guys that was teaching it looked at something on the board and realized one of the very first tiles they laid was wrong. It wasn't, it was not allowed to be played there.
Okay.
So basically,
That doesn't count. That
so
win.
basically the one lady grabs their little pawns. She's like, well, I'm putting us back on the platform because we didn't escape.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, if the experts are struggling, I felt pretty good.
No, it happens. It happens.
So, but it's fun. We're gonna launch that rocket.
Hmm.
We are gonna launch that rocket. It will happen someday. So it
See,
will be
and
back
that's
on
the
the
thing
table
about a
soon.
game like that. If you won the first and second games, like no problem,
And you'd
would
be
you
like,
even want
yeah,
to play it? Yeah, it's like,
probably
okay,
not.
yeah, we got this down. We got this down. It's easy.
But I think we'll be playing Forbidden Island this coming weekend because my daughter was like, I want to play Forbidden Island. I want to play that again. And I was like,
Okay.
okay,
Yeah.
we'll pull it out. I'll give it a shot. I think I'll
Yeah.
probably
I,
enjoy it this time now that I know, understand the
yeah.
whole cooperative thing. But
I think you'll find it Like especially after playing, let's say like Forbidden Sky, you'll find Forbidden Islands like really simple.
Yeah,
I
probably
don't. Well, let me rephrase that. Not simple to win necessarily, but just
easier
a very
to.
yeah. It's an easier game mechanically, just because it's I'll say not as complicated
Yeah, and I
because it's
I
older
think
too.
I've heard that too. Is like that the third one is like the hardest,
Hmm.
and that because and it was funny because this past weekend I was in my big game store, and there was two people standing there talking about it. And this one guy he walked over and it must have been a friend of his. And he's like, "Oh, here's Forbidden Island. And this is great." And he was talking about all the others. And he's like, "But this is the one you want to start with. Trust me. You don't want to start with the others. They're
Yeah,
harder."
yeah,
So, but yeah, that's 40 minutes in and that's what I've
yeah. I was about to
played.
say, yeah, it's been a while. And so one thing I was going to ask you, you kind of reminded me of this because I know that when I was visiting you a couple years ago, we went over to that one store, and then it's like everybody was kind of milling around, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, "Ooh, what's this? Ooh, what's this one? What's?" I mean, not I knew what it was, but it's like I go to the game stores and I actually peruse the
Yeah.
shelves, and I'm like, "Oh, here's a game that I saw online." And then I'm looking at the
Yeah.
box and I'm looking at the back of it. Then I look at the price. Then I put it back. Do you find
Yep.
yourself? Do you find yourself doing that now, like going into like the new area? Like, oh, here's the new releases that they got in the past week. Let me see what they've got.
Well, there's a right as you walk in the door. And I always stop and look. But and I'll usually pick something up. I've some things I've picked up a couple times and it's like, yeah, no, I didn't change my mind on this.
Yeah.
But that store, oh my goodness. So I was in there this weekend. I went over there purposely to find I went over there with the purpose of finding see if they had any more Marvel United. If they hadn't, there's a whole bunch of different versions
Right.
and expansions, I guess, to that game. So I'm like, I'm gonna go get some because I really like this core game. Well, they didn't have any of them, which I was really surprised because this place is big. Um, but that's how I ended up with Azul Summer Pavilion. I
Okay.
must have walked up and down every aisle 4 or 5 times with nothing, but it was just like I was there to buy something,
Oh, been there,
you
done that.
know,
Yep. Yeah.
and then you're like, okay, and then you see something and you're like, yeah, I can't just, I came here for something else. Do I really want to spend $75 on a game that I may not play for another year or two? And, it's like, or it looks too hard, or I got so much on the shelf of shame. But I'm like, ooh, Azul. I know someone in one of my board game groups was like, I would mention I just got hooked on Azul, and they're like, "Ooh, get Summer Pavilion. That's really good." And so I looked at that, and I was like, "Okay, I know I'm gonna love this no matter what."
Hmm.
Oh, they have an expansion with the same covers. I'll take that too.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. And
So
and there is Queen's. Oh,
yeah, Queen's Garden.
yeah. I was gonna
There's the
say Queen's Gambit, but
Chocolatier,
that's a different
or
game. Yeah. Queen's
oh
Garden. Yeah.
yeah, there's also Chocolatier.
Oh, yeah. The new one.
And then
I
I
think
think there's one more about
is it.
stained glass windows or something.
That's well. There's a game Sagrada
No,
that does stuff
it's
like.
Azul.
Okay. Yeah. Because I did see the chocolate one, and I'm like, this is just a rethemed one. I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's Azul, but all the instead of they just changed the tiles to be like chocolate or mint.
Yeah.
There's like mint and different cuts. So yeah, I'm like skipping that one. But the other Azul is stained glass of Sintra.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay,
So I'm
that's right.
probably gonna I know I'm gonna get that one.
Yeah,
I'll
I
probably
did.
pick it up the next time I'm in that store
Yeah,
because they
I
have
did
it.
play that one like 3 years ago. I think
Yeah.
that's a good one. That was a good one too.
So
Yeah, that's got these like vertical stained glass things in there. I think.
yeah, dude, I'm on the Azul train, baby.
Yeah, no, it's a good one.
And I'll probably get chocolatier anyways, just because
Yeah,
it's another version. It's like you gotta have it, right?
yeah. It's
It's
no,
like
you.
Forbidden Sky. I how can I? There's three. It's in the series. How come I only have two? It's incomplete.
Yeah, there is a completionist
Yeah, those
itch that you do
jerks.
get. Yeah,
So I wouldn't be surprised if I have both of those in my on my shelf here pretty soon.
Yeah, I just wonder if it's going to reach a point of where they're milking it too long, because Azul is simple and it's like elegant and it's fun. How much can they tinker with that before they start going astray? Now, granted,
Yeah.
these other games, you know, they could have like the chocolate one, it could have had the name Mark on it, right? It doesn't it doesn't really matter what it's called, right?
Right.
Because they're so abstract and stuff like that. They're just lumping it in there,
Yeah.
to ride out the Azul name as much as they can because they know we'll buy it.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, it's been a nice recording so far. 45 minutes and we just are barely getting started. How about this time we kind of do what we did last time? We'll just go through like one thing on each of these.
Oh, I don't think we need to
Since it's
even
time.
we need to I would just say let's cover your topic and then
Okay.
hit that
And
we got a
maybe
community thing. Yeah.
yeah,
And that's
yeah.
it.
Okay. So I
Oh,
titled this show. Do you want to say something?
I might have to alter that in a minute, but I'll have to
Okay.
make two things mentioned, but it'll be quick. But go ahead.
So one thing, so I titled the show "Missing." What could you mean missing? How does that go into board games? Well, games have lots of pieces, and
Yeah.
sometimes they they don't come packed properly from the factory or whatever, and things are missing. Sometimes an accident, sometimes it's a whole print run that's jacked up, and the
Or
publishers.
or your card from Forbidden Sky, one of your cards, your character's cards is already ripped out of the
Yeah.
package.
Mhm.
That
So a lot
sucked.
so a lot of times, if you just contact the manufacturer or the publisher, they'll send out replacement pieces, usually free. um, like I had a copy of a game called Copycat by Freedom and Freeze, and we were short, I think, one piece, and I contacted them. They sent me a piece from Germany,
Oh wow.
which was impressive. Um, at least I think it was from Germany. But anyway, I remember it was like a little envelope with one piece inside. That was it, nothing else. And I'm like, I'm impressed, that they did that, and it was the right thing to do. And then various other companies will have, like there's a game. Oh man, I did a video on it years ago, a really nice setup video on it, but it's about this dude that it's kind of like a Robinson Crusoe game, really fun, where this dude's on an island and you have this huge stack of like 100 plus cards, and my whole stack of cards was miscut, meaning that when they cut the cards, the art wasn't centered in the card, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
like all the cards were like shifted. There was like a huge white area, and it's an obvious goof. But they sent me like a whole replacement stack of cards, which is awesome. And this stuff happens. Or you'll get like a wooden piece that will be like deformed, especially like the wooden ones, right? Because it is wood. They do stamp it and cut it to shape and everything. Sometimes things go awry at the factory, and they're not done right. But there was a Kickstarter that um, that I backed that apparently has a missing die in it. So these things are currently shipping, right? I don't have the game in hand yet, but there's a dice inside that is missing. So they sent out this email that basically says, construction, oh, there's been an error, you know, um, the we're missing a die inside there, but don't worry, it's a normal white die that you can. use any normal white die. Not a big deal. It'll be too expensive for us to ship everybody a die, whatever you want to call it. I think dice is plural. A die is a single. But anyway,
Yeah.
well, we're not going to ship them. It's going to be too expensive. But as a consolation, we'll give you 20% off on our store. And I'm like, I was kind of irritated by that, just because it's like, okay, you're giving me 20% off in a store that I'm not going to buy anything from.
Yeah.
And, you know, I backed your thing on Kickstarter, and I'm an early supporter. Your production run is going to be right because it's going to be fixed for production. So it's like I supported your product early and you screwed it up, and now I've got an incomplete thing. Well, yeah, I can probably scrounge a white. I mean, I'm not a dice person. I don't have hundreds of dice around. It's like I only have the ones for the game. So if I want a complete game, I'm gonna have to go out and buy a white die, or probably a full set if I want them to all be the same. Because if there's like, let's say, 4 dice total, 3 of them are in there, and then the fourth one's different, it's gonna bug me. So I'm gonna have to buy 4 of the same. But anyway, I don't know. What do you think about that? Am I wrong to be kind of irritated that they would do something like that? Because basically, it's like, sorry, here's a 20% off coupon. When I can go to my local game store and get their games cheaper than 20% off with shipping, and I'm paying tax.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. Is it nitpicking? Are they just copping out and not truly helping their people, or I don't know. What do you think?
I think I'm one that subscribes to the idea of you take care of your customers,
Hmm.
because you know it's actually kind of funny. I didn't realize. So when you talked about you emailed the company, I actually just went to the to Game Rights page, who makes Forbidden Island.
Sure.
I didn't realize how many other things they make that I have.
Oh
I was
yeah.
like, oh, I have that, I have that, I have that. But I got another game from them called Quicks, which is dice.
Sure.
And one of the dice, now this is a simple fix. I just need to do it. One of the dice, it's the yellow dice, and they have the white dots. Well, like one of the dots didn't get filled in with white paint. So when you roll in it, you're like, oh, it's a 3. Oh, wait, no, that's actually a 4 or something. It's
Yeah. Mhm.
I don't remember which. And it's just a simple thing. I could call them and say, hey, give me a new yellow dice, but I can just go get white paint. But I did just email them about the card, but I bet you I won't get a card from them because I don't know if that game's in print. So I think for something like an established company, if they can't, it's tough because I don't know. That's a really good question, Rob, because I doubt they can just get one card, but you'd think that they got to have access to this stuff. But
But
they,
there,
they, they
there's
make games, right? They probably don't just have a bunch of extra cards laying around for this particular reason. So, but, that goodwill of saying, you know what, we're going to send one to you, or we'll just send you a new game. Maybe it's even easier for them to do that. We're just going to replace it for you, or we'll get you a card and a discount or something. I just feel like taking that effort is what really keeps your customers happy. Um, because the first thing I thought when I realized, oh, Quicks so that's 2 games I've got from this company that came out of the box with something wrong with it. And now I'm like, maybe I need to be leery of this particular game company,
yeah, yeah,
especially as a new gamer coming in. Why are there stuff shipping with problems? Ripped cards
yeah,
and dice not painted correctly, and like, what's the deal here? But
yeah.
I
And
think,
it's really not the company's fault per se. It's the factory, but they chose that
but
factory.
right, and that it's not, it's not the customer's fault. We
Right.
purchase something, the company should deliver said product in complete form. If you went and bought a car, you drove it off the lot, and the tire fell off, that's going to be on the dealer. Whoa, how come you didn't have the wheel fastened to the car, right? I mean, that's maybe a bad analogy, but you know, you went and bought something. They said, here's what you're going to get. If it's incomplete or broken, they should replace it. And if they're not going to replace a card or a dice, then they could ship you a new game and say, put your old game in the box and here's a return shipping label. You
Yeah.
know, and honestly, they could just send you a new game because it would cost them more to return it. And the goodwill for just shipping a game that doesn't really cost them, they already have them. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I think that's more important. Now, when it comes to a Kickstarter, that's a little tough, I think, depending on like this Marvel United multiverse that I, I'm going to mention in a minute. That's a Kickstarter from Simon Games. Well, that's a game company, okay, and they have a lot of games, so they're just like GameRight, in my opinion. They're an established company. They're just using Kickstarter to get the money ahead of time before putting it on the shelf, which is a smart idea.
Sure.
Now, and so if something comes wrong with that, I would expect because Simon is a company established, they should make it right. Now, what if Rob Rob Gaming LLC creates his very first card game and he ships it to some guy named Mark on the West Coast because I kickstarted his project and it shows up and it's missing some dice or it's got a card or two missing. How do I hold Rob accountable and is it really fair? Because in that instance, Rob is built this game out of his home. He's not a company. He's trying to get started and I think I would hold Rob to a different level of
Right. I know
expectation,
what you're saying. Yeah.
but I would still expect Rob to fix it because I gave him money to make his product his dream come true. And the least he could do is make sure it was right. And I would think he would want to make sure being new to the game, right?
Right.
Because word of mouth is a big thing. There are a lot of gaming podcasts out there, and people talk about these things. And it's important to go, hey, this company treated me right, you know?
Yeah.
So I think everyone
No,
should try to make it right. If they're going to sell you something, you should get what you buy regardless. But I would be a little lenient myself as a consumer to a one off or Rob LLC compared to big box games
mhm.
company.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, I was just looking at the rules,
And the
and
thing too is on Kickstarter, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. If you have a bad experience, you're probably not going to kickstart anything else.
yeah, potentially.
And so I want to give a shout out here. This is great because I think I told you, I don't think I talked about it in the last show. Evil Bunny is I thought it was my first Kickstarter. It's my first game that I've officially kickstarted before it was out and I got, but Dog Park, I didn't kickstart it, but I got in on the pre-orders from Kickstarter. So that was the first one that I got, but it wasn't something I funded prior to it. It was like, okay, we're going to ship these. We're doing pre-orders. And so I got in with like the Kickstarter crowd. So I actually got my copy. In fact, I've seen people post like, oh, my Kickstarter arrived. And I'm like, oh, I had that last week and I didn't, I was on the pre-order group. But
Right.
anyways, that was still, that's not available yet. And so it was, but anyways, that's a whole stupid, I'm going off topic. But Evil Bunny was one that I did kickstart from the start, looked like a cute little game. And I got the notice that it shipped. It was like a month later, nothing. And I was looking at the tracking and like UPS is like, oh, it's missing. You got to go ask to the game company. And I'm just sitting here going, so right off the bat, like I'm going to get hosed. And I can just see UPS blaming them and them going, well, we're just a one game company and we don't have the extra, that type of thing. And I was like, I'm going to get hosed. It's a Kickstarter. What protection do I have? I really appreciate These people responded to me within like an hour of my email, and they said, "We verified this with UPS. We see that, yes, it is missing. We're sending you a new copy. We're going to ship it 2-day air, and you'll have it in 2 days." And I had it in 2 days. And I'm like, and now I'm going to just talk up this company and this game because they took care of me. And they probably could have said, well, it's out of our hands. That's
Right.
UPS's
It's not
fault.
our
We didn't
fault. Yeah.
lose it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
File a claim with
so many
them.
companies point fingers nowadays and no one takes personal responsibility. This company said, we'll send you another one.
Hmm.
I'm going to buy more from them. It's just, it's, they took care of me and I'm happy with it. That makes me feel good. So,
Oh yeah. Yeah. There was sort of along similar, well, not really that similar, but there was a company that I kickstarted a game, and it was actually TGG Games, and it was a game by Dr. Finn's Games. Really, really good one. But what happened was, so a lot of these places that do Kickstarters, they will, create the game, get it printed overseas typically, and then it comes over on a container, then it goes to a distribution facility, whether it's a fulfillment facility. Sometimes they use Amazon, sometimes they use the stores. There's a number of different stores that have a logistics arm that does this, but they're the ones that actually package everything up and then mail it out, uh, for the company. And what had happened was, I guess there was like a whole pallet of regular version games that got shipped out to people that had Kickstarters. So somebody screwed up, and now they had like hundreds of people that got the wrong game, and I was one of them. So I was supposed to get the Kickstarter version, which had a number of upgraded pieces to
oh,
it,
yeah.
some shinies and stuff like that, wood pieces, foil logo. I'm just making some of the stuff up, but
Right.
it's typical
No.
stuff for Kickstarters.
Yep.
And yeah, what they basically said to make it right was, you know, our fulfillment shipping partner, they messed up, and a number of you people got the wrong version. They said, we're sorry. Just let us know. Just contact us. We will send you out the Kickstarter version. Give the other game to a friend. And I was like, that's actually kind
Wow.
of cool. It's
Yep.
like I got two versions of the game basically, and you know they didn't like want me to
You
take like
eBayed the other one, didn't you? Get your money back.
no, I'm waiting for you to come and pick it up.
What is
Maybe,
it? I'll
maybe in
come get it.
August, but no, but it was kind of cool. They went above and beyond, and
Yeah.
here a company is you know not wanting to send out a dice, a no a die.
One dice.
This,
Yeah.
I'm looking at their components list, and it's one six-sided die. So technically, yeah, just any six-sided die should work because there's only one in the whole game. But
I can mail you one if you want.
well, you go above and beyond this company, and I'm not like totally knocking the company because I like them. They've been around for a long time, and I enjoy so many of their games. But I just thought it was kind
Yeah.
of I thought it was kind of a cop out with what they did, and I don't know, just griping. And you know, I'll probably never play the mode that this die is required. So in the end, it doesn't matter. But it was a good 45-minute discussion or so. Not 45-minute. How 20-minute discussion.
That was still good. It was.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, yeah, just who knows how many games you have that where you actually didn't count the pieces. Some people do that when they first get the game, they go through and they count everything to make sure that they have it. I just can't do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's a little much. But anyway, so here, go on to
So
community chat, you think?
real quick, I'm gonna just say two real quick things. So I mentioned my shelf of shame. My game is Everdell. That is the one I wanted to play.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing it this Friday. So my Southern store is doing a Everdell game night, teaching the
Nice, nice.
game, thing like that. So I'm signed up for that. So that's coming off the shelf this weekend, unless they
Ooh.
cancel it or something. But um, and then on the Kickstarter star side, I did get two more. Now I pre-ordered and I emailed you about this today. I saw that
Oh
Star
yeah.
Wars the deck building game
Mm-hmm.
is going pre-order on the Kickstarter. So I went ahead and pre-ordered that sucker. And then because I fell in love with Marvel
And
United,
and that is, just to clarify, that is the new deck building game, not
the
the card
the
game.
new one. It is the
Yeah.
new one. It's called the deck building game. It's going to release in March of this year. So this is in they're taking pre-orders right from the company store. So actually it's not even a Kickstarter, I guess. The Kickstarters haven't gone out or they're whatever. I don't even know if it's Kickstarted, but because I ordered it directly from the store.
Yeah,
They're
because
doing
this is
pre-orders.
that's Fantasy Flight, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't
Yes.
think they do Kickstarters. At least,
So
yeah.
okay. So I pre-ordered that. It's available to pre-order if you'd like, coming out in March. The other thing I mentioned, Marvel United. Good Lord, I'm going all in on this bad boy. So I originally was getting the $100 release, which was like everything. Well, now they've added a playmat and extra cards and stuff, and it's like at this point, I think I'm like up to $180.
Oh boy.
But there is so much, and every day I'll get emails. Hey, we've met this goal, so we're releasing this character, and I'm like, I made a comment today. I'm like, this box is going to be huge. So I'm real curious to see how big this box is going to be because there's so much in it. But anyways, I added that, so I just wanted to share that. Um, but that's it. Now,
Yeah, I think I only got one this week, or actually within the last 2 weeks, only one. It was Bot Factory, and it showed up just maybe Saturday, so just recently. Like, no, it showed up Friday. That's right.
it
But
showed up, so you've got it, or that was new to the Kickstarter.
oh no, one that I received.
Oh, so new to
Yeah,
your shelf.
it's
What
new to the floor.
or new to the floor? What's it called?
Bot Factory, I think.
Ah,
It's new Vital Lacerda game.
Bot
Um,
Factory.
no wait, actually no, hang on. Please hold.
do 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 do. Oh, I see the Kickstarter info by Joao Quintella Martins. Bot Factory.
Bot Factory. It's a Vital Lacerda game, and Joao Quintela Martins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Vital Lacerda, he makes some really good games. All of them get published through Eagle Griffin, and they're all annoyingly really big boxes. This one isn't too bad. This one's actually a normalish box. Um, like it's similar to the one that you said earlier of it's like a GMT standard. Just
Okay.
no, no, but it's I'll say a normalish box, not like a
Okay.
fantasy flight box, but more rectangular. And yeah, the other one's like I've got Gallerist and Weather Machine, and they're just all just huge, and they really irritate me because they don't fit on shelves very good. They don't play well with other games. But yeah, I just got that one. I still haven't opened it yet. Looks good.
Cool. And didn't you sign up for a Kickstarter for your your favorite game of all time?
Oh, I thought I talked about that. Yeah, I
Oh, okay.
maybe I'll
Castles of
just say it
Burgundy.
again. Yeah, Castles of Burgundy has the new edition from Awakened Realms. Yeah, it's such a good game. Such a good game. Just love it. I mean, it is well, I love the game. I apparently didn't love it enough to get the newer version that just came out like a couple years ago, but that was kind of just like a new edition or like an anniversary edition or something like that.
You were just waiting for this one.
Yeah, this one has like really nice pieces and stuff like that. And like I said, it's one of probably my most favorite games of all time. I've got a couple. Um, Castles of Burgundy is one of them, and for some reason, I just love Manhattan Project, which is a game that's probably never ever going to get a reprint. It was a small print to begin with, and but it's such a good game. It's probably more nostalgia. I played it a couple weeks back, and so Manhattan Project was one of like the first games that actually ever went on Kickstarter. It was done by a company called Minion Games out of Wisconsin, which is not around anymore, unfortunately. But it's so simple looking. I mean, the art on it is, I'll say, like very stylized and not that great at the same time. But the game is so much fun. It's basically about building bombs to blow up people.
Nice.
And yeah, it's like so you have scientists and engineers and workers, and you're getting yellow cake and plutonium and stuff, and you're building bombs, and then you have to load it onto a plane and you can attack your opponent and use their factories. It's such a fun little game, and I just look at it now and it's like, man, games have come such a long way. Oh, and by the way, I did look up Dragonheart, and it was originally printed in 2010. They
Oh, okay.
did come out with a newer version of it. It's not called Dragonheart, but it's called Opale, Opale. It came out. This would be like 3-4 years ago, and I don't think it's available in the U.S. But yeah, Dragonheart, as we know it, is as you and I played it, is not. It's out of print and not available right now.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's keep going off on tangents.
All right.
Let's get back to the program here. So is that all you want to say about the
I'm
Kickstarters?
good. Yep. I'm
Okay.
done.
Yeah. So going into the community section, we did get a message from Matt from last episode 39. And Matt wrote in saying, "Nice to hear you guys again after the abrupt stop of the other podcast." Maybe. I guess it was abrupt. I guess you're right, Matt. I've been getting into board games too a little due to working with moving boxed games at work. I recently tried out Bloodborne. Oh, wow. Board game. And after the steep learning curve, the last board game any of us played was Risk. Yeah, so it's a while ago. It got to be pretty entertaining. So that's cool. I guess he likes Bloodborne at least. And yeah, if you guys go beyond Bloodborne, I'd be interested to see what you go to next. But that's cool that Matt is getting into gaming.
I think it's funny that one of the first comments is from someone from our other show.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
We're here for the
Oh,
long term, Matt. We're in it. You gotta give us props. It was abrupt over there, but I think we just got wore out.
yeah,
You can only talk about the same thing for so long.
yeah, 672 shows or something like that.
Yeah. So
But yeah, thanks for the message. And
yeah,
yeah, I know there's a lot of other people from the old show that are into gaming,
big
even old hosts and stuff. So
yes. Yeah, good friend Ravioli Capone,
yeah,
who lives in Indiana, by the way, Rob, and
yep,
has
yeah, I know
offered
he
to let us
moved.
stay with him for if we go to Gen Con. So we'll have to discuss.
Yeah, or
So
that might be something for you because I'm going to be trucking kids with me because
oh, if you go,
yeah, yeah, yeah. My son goes, and then Jay and his daughters go. It's a whole.
so now you're telling me I got to fly my two kids out there too.
You don't have to. What I
All
would
right,
do is save the money and spend it on games.
there you go. I might have to buy one extra seat just to put the suitcase in it full of games
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
seat next to me. I bought these games a seat.
yeah. It's like
Um,
it's and just so you know, there are like YouTube videos out there that people have posted because a lot of people go to so there's that big spiel
oh,
um
Essenspiel? Yeah.
yeah
I've
convention in
seen what
Europe.
people bring from there, and I'm like, my goodness.
Yeah, so the problem with going over there is how do you get that stuff back, right?
Yeah.
And there's some really interesting
UPS.
things. Well, I mean, what a lot of people do is like they'll spend like their last day basically punching games. So they'll go through because you don't want any extra weight. So they'll punch games,
Oh,
throw out, the
all the all the trash stuff.
yeah, all the trash stuff. And then people have gotten even good to be good, really good at combining down boxes. So you might take like your biggest game, take all the stuff out, and then you can fit like another box in it
Yeah.
and then fit, both pieces. So it's like now you have two games in the space of one. So it's really interesting. Like
Uh,
they talk about like how they do it. Some people actually just get rid of the boxes altogether.
yeah.
They just bring Ziploc bags and put everything in there or collapse the boxes down and various strategies. There's a lot of people can't watch those videos. It's like, oh my God, they're destroying the box. The box needs to be in perfect mint
yeah.
condition the entire time. And I get it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get it. But it's funny.
No.
So anyway, um, is that it for episode 40 or do we want to mention
That's
anything
it.
else?
No,
Thanks, Matt,
I'm
for
good.
that message. We'd love to hear, see if you guys tried out anything else, or if you guys have been getting into any other games. Love to hear that.
Yeah.
So, okay. So I guess that's a wrap for episode 40. Uh, we'll catch you all next time. I'm Rob. Thanks for listening, everybody.
I'm Mark. Catch you later.